Azure Container Registry. Yes, Microsoft Azure is a cloud platform where we have a list of services available. One of the very important services for modern days application development is Azure Container Registry. It is in this particular registry we can put our Docker images, and from Azure Container Registry we can then create instances that is called as Azure Container Instances. So there are two services now which we are going to look at one after the other. Azure Container Registry, which is going to be used for building, storing and managing our Docker images, and Azure Container Instance, which is going to actually use the image from Azure Container Registry to create a new virtual machine in background. That means from the image, automatically we are going to provision a virtual machine with the instance of a image. Yes, this kind of facility is actually used by a lot of orchestration applications. We want to make use of Azure Kubernetes Service, AKS, or Azure Service Fabric, or for that matter, Azure Container Registry images can also be used for creating Azure app services. A new app service instance can be created from a container registry. So Azure Container Registry is going to stay longer and will be used by lot of applications which are probably hosted in Azure, or not necessary they should be on Azure, but we want to distribute those applications through Docker container images. So like we have got Docker Hub by Docker, the Docker organization. Docker Container Registry is also a registry, that means a Docker store where we can store all our images. But there is something which we have to take care of. Microsoft Azure is only going to support LTS operating system. Long-term support operating system only is what Microsoft Azure supports. So we have to make a small change in our base image when we are going to create a custom image. Instead of using Microsoft/.NET 2.1 SDK, we have to use .NET 2.1 SDK Nano Server SAC 2061. This is a long-term support image, and this is the one which is going to be supported in Azure Cloud. So first thing I'll have to do is I'll take this as the base image in my application. So I have my application, the same old application which I have been carrying from the previous sessions. I have Hello Web App and EMP Web API. In Hello Web App we have got the Docker file. I want to replace this base image with the one and also the base image for the EMP Web API. The situation is same. We have got Hello Web App having its own default page, but also in Hello Web App we have got a controller get employees which is communicating with the EMP Web API. Now something very important here, this particular thing, service host, is supposed to be a value of an environmental variable. Now we are expecting service host to be the IP address, but the point is when working with Azure, we are able to give the environmental variable values in the portal, but for some reason the portal does not allow you to enter dot in the values. It only allows you to use alphanumeric values. So what I would do is I'll make a small addition here. I'll just say host is equal to, rather if host is not equal to null, I am writing here host dot replace. I am going to use underscore in place of using dot, but underscore I'll replace with dot over here in the string. Something very simple. This is because of the issue I have while creating the container instance and passing environmental variable values which has dot. Dot is not allowed, so there I'll put underscore, and here I'm replacing underscore with dot. Assumption is the value is not going to have underscore. That's the assumption I'm making. Good. So now it's time, our base application is ready. Whatever changes I had to make, I have made it here. Now it's time to go to the Azure portal, portal.azure.com, and now we want to create a new registry, Azure Container Registry instance. So go to create a service, click on containers, and you see here there are so many options of containers. You can use Docker on Ubuntu server. This is actually going to provision a virtual machine which will have ready-made Ubuntu operating system and Docker provisioned on it. Web apps, basically app service with container, service fabric, Kubernetes service AKS, and these two are what I would like to demonstrate here. One is container registry and the other is container instance. First, we are going to begin with container registry. Give some name to the container registry, like I want to give DSS demo registry. Use the existing namespace, the resource group. Rest we can, here there is something called as admin user. If enabled, you can use registry name as username and admin user access as password to log in to your Docker container registry. So we want to enable admin username so that we would want to log into this particular registry. How to use those credentials? I'll explain it. So click on create now. It will do the validation and it will create a background process which is going to create the registry in a while. In the meantime, now when we want to connect to the registry and add our images to it, we have to ensure that our images are built with the prefix of the Azure Container Registry name. So for container registry, this is going to be the endpoint. DSS registry.azurecr.io. That is what is going to be the host name, container registry host name. So now I have to either use the existing images and tag them with this so that both the images will have both actually are referring to same image, just that they become aliases because we are tagging here. Because in my case I have made the changes to the code, I would like to rebuild it. I have made the change to the Docker file. I have also made the change to the code. So I would like to completely rebuild it. Don't forget to save these files. And then we go to the PowerShell. Let's say EMP Web API and Docker build -t. Docker build -t. Now we need the prefix. How to get the prefix? We have the container registry instantiated, and from overview we can get it login server. Copy this / whatever name you want to give for the image. Let's say EMP Web API and the context, that is your location of Docker file dot Docker build. So the image so and so is used and we got the image successfully created. Likewise, I should also do it for hello web app. The same command, but here I'll change now to hello web app, and it performs the same steps. Now it's time to publish both the images into the registry. So for that I'll need login credentials. Go to access key, the access key property in the registry, and here you see we have got login server, we have got username, and we have got the password. Any one of these two passwords can be used. So now the command for logging into the registry, we have to use docker login. So this is the command I want to use now. So I'll copy this first in the notepad and make the required changes to it. Username, in my case it is DSS demo registry. And I need to copy the password. Copy, paste it here. Copy this whole command, paste it. This is still continuing. Let it continue in the background. I'll open a new command window. Just paste. And we are logged in. We are now logged into Azure Container Registry. So when I do push, it is actually going to push into the registry of Azure. So what is the command for pushing? Docker push, and we need to give the name, which is dss demo registry dot azure container registry .io slash, let's say, emp web API. Push it. So as it pushes this in the background, this is not completed yet. We'll have to push this also. Both the images I'm going to push it into the Azure Container Registry. Once these actions are completed, the ultimate thing which I'm going to show you is here in Azure Container Registry, we have repositories. We are going to see here both the repositories available. Right now it is showing EMP Web API, but we know that it is not available yet for further action because we are pushing it. Only when this is completed, this will become available for further actions. That means I'm going to use this image for creating the instance. Yes, this image is created. Let us now push this also. So docker push, the same story, dss demo registry slash azure cr slash io slash hello web app. And let's check if this is, yep, this is completed. EMP web app has been completed. Like this, after a while, this also will get completed. All the images will get pushed into the registry. So now let us confirm it. Refresh here. We should have two images, EMP Web API and Hello Web App. So in this session, we have seen how we can make use of Azure Container Registry for images so that these images can be used subsequently in any other location after authentication. We are going to create the instance of these images in the next session. Thank you.